What is going on, you guys? Happy Monday. Today's morning show looks a little different. We've jumped back into our original setup with my previous videos on my page. Familiar, over there is where I do and host my morning show and things of that nature. I wanted to switch it up a little bit, give a mix of both with the lights and the previous setup. I hope you guys enjoy it. Today's morning show will not consist of all the things that we normally talk about. It won't have a Reddit story. It won't have an On My Heart for your playlist. Things like that won't happen today. But what will happen today will be one of my favorite segments, Across the Pond. This episode is fully dedicated to Across the Pond. You clicked on this video because you already saw the title. And we really have to talk about these sister wives, Cody, Janelle, Christy, Mary, Robin. We have to talk about it, guys. I'm so happy that you're spending your Monday morning with me. It's a little different, but it's still going to be a great show. This is Kaelyn. I've been so excited to do... I've been so excited to cover this show. I've watched Sister Wives before, back in the day. The show came out whenever time right here. And I've seen it. I know what they were about and things of that nature. I never dived too deep, though, in order to have a real opinion on what took place. I'm a Christian woman, so my values stand with one wife, one husband, monogamous under God, and you do your absolute best to make it till death do you part. Of course, there's other circumstances that may force your hand and cause you to have to either be single or leave, but that's the idea of what I believe in. So if you watch my channel, there's not really I don't have like a bias. Of course, I'm Christian. I would never do this, but this is what they're into. Let's dive in. I want to see if I can find myself within these women and see if I was the first wife, how would I feel? If I was the fourth wife, how would I feel? Like, that's what we're going to get into today. All right. Okay. Before we dive into the show itself, I want to amp us up with some history of what polygamy really means, what a polyamorous relationship really entails, the pros, the cons, the benefits for the men, the benefits for the women, so that we can have a better understanding before we go deeper into these ladies and Cody. In general, the potential benefits of polygamy are primarily associated with the common form, one man with multiple wives, and historically exist in specific socioeconomic and cultural contexts. Research also reveals significant negative psychological and social impacts for both men and women in polygamous relationships and for children raised in such households. Here are the potential benefits for women. Potential for greater economic stability. This lifestyle may offer a woman and her children greater financial security by allowing her to marry a wealthy, high-status man, even if it means sharing him with other wives. In polyandrous societies, one woman and multiple husbands, the woman and her children benefit from the pooled income and resources of multiple husbands. Ooh! Shared workload and emotional support. In these households, co-wives may share the burdens of housekeeping and children rearing, reducing the labor demands of any single wife. Some women also experience a sense of camaraderie and emotional support from their co-wives. In this dynamic, a woman may have a broader system of emotional support. Increased reproductive success. Evolutionary perspectives suggest that in these societies, women might prefer to share a higher quality mate to ensure their offspring inherit more favorable genes. In some cases, multiple partners may increase offspring viability, which benefits the mother. Okay, before we move on to the potential benefits for the men, I want to, let's break down what we just read. So as far as resources, I am a traditional woman. I can't wait to be taken care of by my husband. I have extremely huge aspirations to take over the world in media and in ministry. Yes. So I don't know how that then couples with being a traditional wife in the sense of being the homemaker, stay at home, this, that, and the third. But I'm going to find the perfect way to blend it. The Lord's going to bless me. But I still stand with the idea that my man will provide, and he will do it. Like, he will have the provider mindset. He would have a provider heart. Like, that's on my prayer list. Like, that's non-negotiable. So yes, resources matter. Resources matter. Okay. So I get it. Like I said, guys, we got to put ourselves in their shoes. I was talking to my family yesterday about, the idea of filming today's content. And I brought something up. Women that feel as if all men cheat. Women in today's culture who feel as if all men cheat, who may not believe in this type of lifestyle up front, may find that this is the safest route. Because if you really feel that all men are going to cheat, it's just a matter of when, no man is faithful and blah, blah, blah. That's the rhetoric that you choose to believe. I guess why not just join a community? You get guarantees. You're guaranteed a home. You're guaranteed a plot of land. You're guaranteed your children to have community and siblings, and for them to know their siblings and not be confusing as to who is who. We know that my mommy is the third. We know that that's wife number 2. We know it's not finding out on Thanksgiving that, there's a mistress and there's another baby. It's none of that. We chose this intentionally. We chose this, and we're provided for. In this case, with these ladies, they do work. I believe all of them work. You're pulling together resources, but the idea is that the man has the majority and that you are covered and protected. You just have to sign up to share. When it says that this type of dynamic helps co-wives share the burdens of housekeeping and child rearing and reduces labor demands on any single wife, I guess, but I don't necessarily get that, because each one of these women, with the exception of Mary, who was blessed with 1 child, they have 3 to 7 or whatever children each. So yes, there's more women to help with the workload, but the more women is what's bringing more of the children, which increases the workload, which then demands for all the women to be all in. So it's kind of like, yes, there's so many people to help, but the reason why we need so much help is because there's so many people. So yeah, I don't know. Let's dive into the potential benefits for men. Increased reproductive success. The primary evolutionary benefit for men in this society is the ability to father more children and increase their overall reproductive success. Economic and social advantages. Having multiple wives can increase a man's labor force. This lifestyle has historically been a way for high-status men to build and strengthen social and political ties by forging connections with more kin groups. A man can also benefit from the diverse financial risk and incomes of multiple partners. Potential health benefits. Those subject to limitations have found that polygamous men may report higher erectile function and lower depression scores compared to monogamous men. I mean, the function of it, because you're constantly, I don't know, I can't pretend to understand why. And lower depression scores. I guess because if one doesn't want to, you go to the second. If the second don't want to, you go to the third. And if the third don't want to, you go to the fourth. So no, you're not depressed because you're not being deprived. Or if you are, there's always a solution around the corner, literally next door. And it's not cheating. Significant negative consequences. The negative consequences for women. Mental health issues. Numerous studies have found that women in polygamous marriages, particularly first wives, experience significantly higher rates of mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and hostility. Competition and jealousy. This is one of the most common issues in polygamous families, as co-wives or sister wives compete for the husband's affection and limited emotional and financial resources. Lower marital satisfaction. Wives often report less marital satisfaction compared to their monogamous counterparts. I mean, absolutely. You get him twice every other day. You know he just left her. He's here for a while. You guys aren't getting along, but you don't have a full week to fight through it because he has to spend time with the other wives. You could be on a high from a fantastic date or vacation and know that he's having that same shared experience with the next. Is your love really real, or are you just a part of this process? And just simply you're sharing a man. So yeah, that might lead to less marital satisfaction. Even though you signed up for it. We're all built pretty much the same in the way that you won't be able to fake it too long. We'll talk about that more with Mary later. Negative consequences for men. Increased stress and conflict. Managing multiple wives and their needs often leads to intensified marital difficulties, jealousy, and complex family disagreements. Absolutely. How can you manage 4 wives when you haven't even mastered 1 wife? How can you manage 4 wives and then each of their children? How can you manage each of the children and their personal relationships and the way that their lives intersect outside of this household, between school, personal thoughts, dreams, aspirations, hobbies, talents, sports? How? It's like a God complex. Granted, this is what his religion believes, but I feel like the man being at the center and then everyone else being created from him, he's the nucleus, he is the center of it all. It's replicating a extremely low budget form of what God, the one true living God, did for us. Everything came from him, and I feel like Cody and this household feels as if this is his kingdom, this is his reign, and he loses it all. Okay. Higher rates of violence. Some research suggests that societies with legal permitted polygamy have higher rates of violence, which may be linked to the underclass of unmarried and uneducated men that the system creates. Potential health risks. Some studies have found a link between polygamous marriage and a higher risk of heart disease, with stress from family life cited as a possible contributing factor. Unsuitable for many. A majority of polygamous men in one study reported they would not recommend it to other men, indicating it is not a universally positive experience. Absolutely. Yeah, you get into it with 1 wife and the other 3 are good. So you think, okay, me and Christy, we're not in the best space, but me, Janelle, Mary, and Robin, we got it. Okay, but then you and Robin fall out. So now it's the other 2 are good. And then now you're at it with all 4. Even in good faith with all your attempts, whether you were the problem or not, you're having to problem solve, have these deep discussions, have these marital sit downs of how you made her feel and how she made you feel. And she didn't feel loved, but you didn't feel respected in each household. And let's not forget, the kids need their dad. So you're just like, in what world are you not pulled endlessly to where it drives you mad, unless you disassociate and you're truly not a present father or husband for many or most? And efforts to love on who you're getting love from at the moment, or to just pick who's easiest, or I need to preserve myself, so as much as they have grievances, 10 out of the 13 children, I'll rock with the 3 that rock with me this week. I'll rock with the 2 wives that rock with me this week. I can't possibly problem solve in the way that it will be effective. So it's just going to have to be swept under the rug. And they're going to have to forgive me because I am the husband. And we have to move on. And you must honor me because you are my wife. Yeah, no. Either you're all in and you're problem solving every single day, which seems nearly impossible with that many children and that many wives, or you're deciding who don't matter at the moment. I'm not gonna, I can't do it today, guys. I can't manage 30 people's emotions. I can't do it today. I only have time for 1. But you signed up with 4. Negative consequences for children. Adverse mental health effects. Children raised in polygamous families show a high risk of psychological distress and behavioral problems. Emotional neglect. A systematic review found that children from polygamous marriages experienced higher rates of emotional neglect. Lower academic achievement. Research has found that children of polygamous parents tend to have lower academic achievement and social adjustments. Oh, Lordy. Cody Brown was raised in a Mormon family, but his father later adopted polygamy, a lifestyle Cody also embraced and pursued with his own wives. He's from Wyoming. For Mary Brown, his first wife, she grew up in California. Wow. In a large family of 25 siblings. Her connection to polygamy is that Mary came from a polygamous family and was introduced to Cody by one of his sisters. She was his first wife. All right, Janelle Brown. Unlike some of the other wives, Janelle was not raised in a polygamous family. Her own mother was against the idea until she met and married Cody's father. Wait, what? Wait. Unlike some of the other wives, Janelle was not raised in a polygamous family. Her own mother was against the idea until she met and married Cody's father, William, becoming his third wife. Wait. So, Janelle's mom married Cody's father? Is that what that says? Is this what it means? Janelle's mom married Cody's father, and then Janelle married what would have been her stepbrother? Because if Janelle's mom and Cody's dad got together, that then makes Cody and Janelle step siblings. But then they married? What is going on? Okay. Y'all let me know if I'm totally misunderstanding what's going on. Cody's first wife, Mary, introduced him to Janelle. Okay. Christine Brown. Christine grew up in a polygamous family and met Cody through her sister, becoming friends before their marriage. Her connection to polygamy, she knew she wanted to be a part of a polygamous family, with her initial goal being to be a third wife. She knew she wanted it. She knew the time slot. She knew the number she wanted to be. And she became that. Yeah, so that must mean, yes, because Janelle is the second wife. So Janelle's mom did marry Cody's dad, and she was the third wife. She met and married Cody's father, William, becoming his third wife. And then I guess the town just works how it works. And then she was like, yeah, that could be my stepbrother, but that kind of looks like my husband. And I'll be the second to his one. Oh, child, because Christine became the third. Okay, I knew I was tripping. I had mistaken whether Janelle was the second or the third, but Christine was the third. So her mom was the third to his dad. Ah, okay. Robin Brown. Robin grew up in the polygamous lifestyle. Cody and Robin met at church in 2009 and spiritually married a year later. Robin was a single mother of 3 from a previous relationship before her marriage to Cody. Oh, Lordy. All right. I didn't know that about Janelle's mom's affiliation with Cody's dad. But anyway, let's tap in, guys. Let's lock in. So you have Mary as the first wife. Mary and Robin have a very unique dynamic. Mary being the first wife and Robin being the fourth wife. So Mary is the first wife. She met Cody when they were young. They've been married. They were married for a while. They tried to have kids multiple times throughout the duration of their marriage. And she was only successful with one birth. And she had her daughter. Okay. You're the only one, but you believe in this lifestyle and now you want to act it out. But you know that means that the man that you once weren't sharing, because you've been number one, you now will be sharing. apparently over time, she had known Christine, the third wife, over the years. And in their friendship, Cody and Christine decided to give it a go. And Mary also had a hand in Robin, the fourth wife, and Cody connecting. So I just wonder, like, could you be number one? Could you be number one knowing that, yes, I'm first. Yes, I'm here with you. But I also know that after me, there will be a litany of other women and their children. And even more troublesome to her spirit potentially is to see Janelle, the second wife, bear children before she, the first wife, was able to, because she had troubles conceiving. So now the second wife comes in. We've been trying for a cool minute, and now she on her second child, and I'm over here like, and then now the third wife comes in and she's popping them out, and like, that's interesting. That's interesting. But Mary and Robin have a unique relationship where they have the strongest connection out of, they have a really strong connection where Mary and Robin kind of, I feel, bonded off of being at the ends. Mary at being at the first, and Robin respecting, because she grew up in this, Robin respecting the matriarch. You are the one that's legally married. You are the leader of this because you are his first official wife and technically the only legally married one. We are all spiritually married to him. You are the legal wife. So in a way, I feel as if, yes, Robin was a threat by being a new woman overall and seemingly being one of Cody's favorites and all that. But I feel like they were able to bond based off of being the ends. Like, maybe Robin didn't feel like she was being so welcomed by Christine and Janelle, but she felt like she could find solace with Mary. And maybe Mary felt as if this fresh new person, after these 15, 16 or whatever years of them just being a trio of wives, maybe this new fresh person can help me with my own personal thoughts and stuff like that, because she's just a new person to bounce ideas off of, if I'm not getting along so well with the other two that I've been, matched with over the years. So Mary and Robin, okay, first and fourth. Then you have Christine and Janelle. Christine and Janelle are in the middle, okay? Christine always thought that they would probably stop at number 3, her being number 3. She always wanted to be number 3. She met a man that had 2. She became the 3rd. She was like, this is it. She was against there being a 4th, which was Robin. She was against it. So Robin didn't really have a good shake coming into it anyway. So whatever. But Janelle and Christine, they are close. They are friends. They have a relationship. And I feel like it's because they know they're in the center. They don't possess the crown of being number 1. And they don't possess the crown of being the freshest, newest wife. They are in the middle. And although they bared the most children for Cody, and they put in their fair share of work and time and all these things that they've done to uphold their part of this dynamic in this household, they are in the middle. They're not one, and they're not the first, and they're not the newest. So I feel like there's a lot of ways that you can relate with each other by being in the middle. You know what I mean? Being in the middle must be a tough spot, because you're not able to be technically anything more than in the middle, if we want to go with rankings. Then you have Janelle and Mary. Janelle and Mary, the 1 and the 2. They don't have the best relationship. On the show, it's even documented them going to therapy to try and bond this sisterhood instead of seeing each other more as neighbors or cohabitating or people that oversee each other's children. They're trying to, because these women in this religion, they believe that the beauty is not just in this man that we share. It's in the camaraderie and the sisterhood between us. Like, literally, I want to be good with you as my sister. We're not just sharing this experience. I want to know you. And it didn't go so. It wasn't supernatural for the two of them. So they've had therapy over the years, and you've seen a little bit of strides, but ultimately they chalk it up to personality differences. So yeah, the 1 and the 2, I feel like that's a hard one, because you're the second wife coming on to a woman that's only been with this man. So maybe by the time the third came, which was Christine, Mary, number one, has already felt like, been there, done that. There's already been a second. So I'm more adept and like ready for this third. Okay. But when you're one and then there's two, it's really like, whoa, like, yes, I know I signed up for this, but you're the reason why I'm getting less time. You're actually having children before me. You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. I'm not used to this. It's only been me. And then I think Janelle potentially feeling like, okay, well, we all signed up for this experience. And although I know I wasn't number one, we know that we signed up for this and I have my own place here as well. And like, I know you're number one, but I mean, so I think before things continue to dissolve between Mary and Cody, I believe they were married about like 32 years or something like that. I don't know, because she's in her 50s or something and they were married when they were teens or so. That's a long time. And I think there was a while before they got married to a second. So she was just used to being number one. The next dynamic that I want for us to dive into is Christine and Robin, the third and the fourth. Christine is very outspoken. Most, like pretty much all of them are. All of them are, which I can appreciate. Yes, there's certain ways where they're more amenable and agreeable because they did sign up for this. So how much are you really going to get pushback on certain things when you know that this lifestyle opens up for this level of complications? But when things aren't going right, they do speak up. When things aren't feeling well, they do speak up. And I can respect that about these ladies in their own specific way. But Christine and Robin, Christine never wanted there to be a fourth after her. She thought she was going to be the last one. She was going to be that closing anchor. You know what I mean? But what's been revealed on the show is that Cody was never attracted to Christine, according to him. That he was repulsed at the sight of her devouring nachos. He famously described on a tell-all reunion special. He wasn't feeling Christy like that. He said that he never had that. To say that he had this physical attraction that was burning and on fire would be a lie, but they found commonalities and they made it work and they made a beautiful family. So I'm sure Christine felt as if, oh, we're having a ball. Look at us, all these kids. Look at us, look at us, look at us, look at us. I've had his last child. Like, it ends with me. Not even like 3 weeks after giving birth to their last child, truly, was he having a wedding ceremony with his fourth wife. Like, I think her not knowing, or her knowing or believing that it would just be enough or they'd come around at some point. Her not knowing that Cody never from the jump was really feeling her, never in love with her, never. Of course, he was going to go try and fill that void, and he had to go get a fourth because he was like, with the last one I got, I'm being obligated and I'm doing what I said I would do, but there's no fire there. There's no fire there. There never was. We just made it work because of whatever we agreed on. So he went and found a fourth, and that's Robin, who Mary okayed or kind of introduced Robin. And I think the other women weren't open to a fourth, and Mary was the only one who was siding with Robin's joining the family, which further united Christine and Janelle, the 2 and the 3, and bonded the 1 and the 4, but also separated the 2 and the 3 from the 1 and the 4, because it's like, we said we was good as a trio. Now you going outside of things with Cody, finding a fourth. We didn't need none of that. Funds are already tight. We have enough kids in this house. Oh, and again, need I mention, Robin has 3 kids from a former relationship. So she's bringing in more mouths to feed. And they're technically not Cody's. So will they have more opportunities than my kids? Like, who are these kids that technically aren't blood? But these women, I will say that they do think children first. Like, they are a family first, children first unit. Like, legit. As much as things may not go perfectly in this household with, it's too many people to actually, it's just a lot. As much as things may not be perfect, they tried their best to be centered around what's best for the kids. They tried. Yeah, these dynamics, man. Could you be the first, knowing that so many are coming after you, but you're number one? You started it all off, right? He chose you first, right? Could you be number 2, where You're not the first. You didn't have to do all the legwork. You're not technically married to him officially, but you're part of something that's beautiful. But you may contend with the wife who's not used to there being a second and you being the second. Could you be number 3, where now there are 2 women that go before you that share your man, but you are the newest one, but there are 2 women before you. Maybe you find sisterhood, or maybe you find a war and a battle between the 3 of you, because that's just a lot of women. Or could you be the 4th? Do you find yourself being number 4, where you just kind of come in as the fresh, shiny new toy, ready for Cody's affection and attention? You're the youngest. And yeah, you're number 4. You're fresh and new. You're fresh and new. What number could you see yourself as? Like, number 4 means that the rest are probably jealous or hating on you. Even if you're a great person and the most perfect person in the world, you're still the newest one. But then bump what the ladies got to say. I'm number 4 and I'm the freshest, newest one, and I may get more privileges because of that. Or I want to be number 1 because I started this all and I know, and I had ample say into how things continue to translate over the years, because I had to say I was number 1. None of this was just done to me. I agreed to all this. I just think it's really sad when you think you're the last one and there's another one coming. Because let's just say that they continued. So much has happened since then. Let's just say that they continued. And Robin was no longer number 4. And there was a 5th. Then she would finally, I think, understand what it feels like to be quote unquote replaced with that spot. And not saying that she deserves that feeling, but I don't think you'll ever know that by being the freshest and the newest. I don't know. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Where do you think you could land? Could you be number 1, 2, 3, or 4? Could you? Could you do it? Number 1 seems so miserable because you just got to see him sleep with new woman upon new girl and new family. And number 1 is tough. I low-key think that 3 might be a sweet spot. Because I was newish at some point. I have 2 ladies before me that I can learn from and grow with. And then I have a 4th one after me that I guess, I've been the 3rd before, so I can understand someone coming after, because I came after somebody before, so I can get it. I've replaced someone before, so I get being replaced. I don't know, maybe 3 is a sweet spot. 4 is the easiest answer, but I'm trying not to be like selfish. Like, yeah, make me the newest, make me the freshest. Because just as soon as you get comfortable, somebody's coming. Ding dong. On number 6, we agreed that this was it. We agreed I was number 1. Chrissy was like, I did not want a 4th wife. I was supposed to be the last one. So I don't know. 4 sounds like a sweet spot, but I don't want to just jump into that. I want to sound like I'm more evolved in my thinking, but that sounds like the safest bet. Today we're going to talk about when things really shifted between the sister wives and the power dynamic. All right, guys. So as we know, Mary Brown is the first wife. But more than just saying the first wife, she's technically the only wife. The only legal woman seen under law united with Cody Brown. Because it's not legal to have that many wives, there can only be one technical wife, and that is Mary. She holds the paperwork. She holds that. That's what I'm saying. In the last one, I was going back and forth on who would I be? Would I want to be number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? And I'm like, number 4, you're fresh and new, but I forgot to think about that. Number 1, you hold legal rank. Everyone else is spiritually married, but I have paperwork. I'm leaving here with something. I'm not just finna be discarded. I'm leaving here with something if it should come to that. So I forgot to think about that in the last one. But anyway, Mary is his technical only wife. In spirit, there's 4. In truth, there's 1. And this posed to be a problem. Ordinarily, the women that come into this dynamic know that there is one true original wife and that the rest are not secondary or whatever, but they won't ever have that position. And they're okay with that. Before this shift, Janelle, the second wife, Christine, the third wife, and Robin, the fourth wife, all knew their place, especially in accordance to who Mary is in Cody's life. Robin, being the fourth, the newest wife, when Cody decided to court her, he knew he was doing that with her having 3 children of her own from a previous relationship. That seems all fine and dandy. Come into the fold, come into the family, we're all one, right? Apparently some problems were happening in the background with her children's father or ex-husband or baby daddy. I don't know the dynamic of who this man was that she had children with, but apparently there was some problems in the background and it threatened Cody's ability to father these children properly or have access to these children in the long run, because he technically has no blood allegiance, no connection to the children, and they're not his stepchildren, not his blood children. They're not his children. He is spiritually married to their mother. And in the court of law, that doesn't give you more power than the actual biological father or the family that share the same blood and DNA with these children. So whatever was going on spooked them out. And Cody said, if I'm doing things, if I'm providing financially, I'm there emotionally, I'm tucking them in bed, I'm making sure they're good, their mom is good, I am just as much a father to these children as my own children that I created. And yes, technically, so honorable. Look at you, Cody, taking on more children, even ones that you didn't even father. But the thing is, he and Robin want to adopt the children. They want Cody to adopt the children legally so that they could be Browns. They don't have the same last name. The children apparently would say repeatedly, Mom, we love Cody. We wish we were a Brown too. All of our other 50 billion siblings have Brown as their last name. And we kind of just like stand out. We don't have Brown. We stand out. What can we do? We stand out. Like, I want to be a Brown. They're children, right? So I get it. But the only way that they could be legally Browns is if Cody adopts them. And the only thing in the way of Cody adopting them is him being legally married to Mary. The only way to fully adopt these children and have a fighting chance in court, because they are not as favored in this polygamous lifestyle already, is being legally married to the fourth wife, Robin, therefore transferring the power, the legal power, the strongest position in the household, not from Mary to the second wife who's been here all these years and bore his actual children. No, not to his third wife who's been here all these years and gave him his actual children. No, but the fourth wife who they already feel like has been pedestalized, so they already feel like has been favorited and been treated in a certain way, who they already feel with children that he technically did not have the power of being the legal wife with protection and benefits attached to it, I guess, goes to the fourth, the shiny, the newest wife, Robin. In Robin's defense, I don't recall from watching what I've seen that she was bullying or making Mary feel bad. Like, it's only gonna be if you divorce him and let him marry me. No, I think she kind of knew like this would be nice, but oh my gosh, what a way for this to have to happen. Like, that's devastating for their union to have to dissolve in order for my children to now be, protected under the fold. But again, as I've said before in this video or the previous, that these women are very children centered and focused, which I can respect. You know what I'm saying? They do care about the children, and Mary decided to give up her place as the number one wife, as the first wife, as the one with any legal protection or rankings in the household. decided to give it to the fourth wife, Robin, so that under them being legally married, they would have a better fighting chance at adopting these children and making them Browns. This didn't mean that it was guaranteed. They still faced the court of law, who weren't in their favor. They still faced the previous father, husband, baby daddy. They still faced him pushing back on this or whatever have you. So it wasn't a guarantee, but the thing is that Mary still had to divorce in order for those other things to actually happen. So she gave up being a wife, the legal wife, in that standing, without knowing that they would even actually get approved for being adopted. I've been here so long, and I'm going to give up this title. But I guess for the children, it's just a title, right? And Cody is seen in this scene looking taken back, but I think deep down, maybe not that deep, I think Cody was happy because he and Mary had already decided, or were in spaces for a long period of time where they weren't vibing. It wasn't intimate in that way. It wasn't this connection like it once was. So they were existing in the fold and the setup of their home and the rules and the responsibilities, but they weren't necessarily. Him and Robin, the fourth wife, they had a bond. It was a new fire. It was something fresh. So if anybody he had a choice to technically be married to, I know that he would have wanted that to be shifted to Robin. He got out of this with no dirt on his hands because Mary suggested it. She said it. She proposed the idea. So it worked out. I feel like in a certain way that Mary was deep down already processing her escape, already processing leaving because of the disconnect that she and Cody had. But she's a fighter. She really wasn't going to give up. If Cody fought for her, she would not have left Cody. Like, if you watched, she was not going to leave Cody no matter what. Like, whatever indoctrination, whatever feeling, whatever connection, whatever they had, she was like, Cody, if you only knew what I feel when your hand touches mine, if you knew. And he was like, I feel nothing. He's like, I feel like we miss the idea of something with each other, but we don't miss each other necessarily. She's like, speak for yourself. She's like, Cody, like, she was trying. Man was checked out. So that was a huge dynamic shift. If you were the first wife, do you think you would have relinquished your title for the fourth wife's children who aren't biologically related to your husband to now be adopted into the fold, but also tells you to get off of that high horse's number one and bring you down to still one in position, but equal to 2 and 3 with no legal standing, no protection? When you go to funerals, the girlfriend of the dude for 20 years, the long-term side chick, all that, she don't get no type of, there's nothing. Unless he wrote in his will specifically that she will have, her children will have. It passes over and it goes to his ex-wife. It just does. The court of law respects the wife, even if you're no longer married. So, what an interesting thing. I don't know. I think I get Mary. She was, I guess, kind of on her way out, but not really. She's like, you know what? I'm prolonging the inevitable. Let me just get off of this paperwork. Let's see if we can still be spiritually married, as Cody kept asking her. But we're still married, right? We're still married, right? This doesn't change anything. We're still spiritually married, right? Like, this is still, we're still us, right? Now he all caring about Mary. But anyway, she was like, yeah, that doesn't change. Like, it's annoying me that you're asking me this. Of course it's not going to change us, Cody. We're still the same. And as much as Robin truly, I believe, was sincerely taken back that this gesture was done for her and her children, I do believe, because she genuinely cares about Mary. Maybe there's 2% that's made her sit there and be like, oh, now I'm the wife. Not as a diss to Mary, but just on the strength of, now I'm the wife. Me and him have the strongest bond. We're the most intimate. We kick it the most. He favors me, whether she wanted to admit it or not. And now I'm actually the wife. It's actually working out for me to be this number 4. And so even if there was a 5th girl in the fold, now Robin technically holds the title as the legal wife within the dynamic. How did this fare with the 2 and the 3? It did not go well. Janelle did not like. She's like, what the heck? Christine was like, what do you mean you're transferring power? We all came in knowing that Mary is number one, and we respected that. And then we saw each other as whatever. We saw each other more equal in this way, but Mary was up here. Now the 4 is number 1, and you never. And Mary was concerned. She was like, I wonder if Janelle and Christine will be mad at me, wondering why I didn't dissolve my relationship for them and their relationships with Cody. But the reality of it is, it wasn't necessary. They didn't have a dynamic that forced her hand or that made her feel compelled to. They just fell in line as they believe in polygamy. But this one specifically was to adopt children, and this was the way to go. But I know that Janelle and Christine were not feeling that. They already felt like Cody was giving favors to her, playing favors with her, and now it's like, oh, and now she has the title? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. So, another dynamic that shifted this is that Mary was catfished. Once the marriage was dissolved between she and Cody, which technically under the eyes of God, she's not married anymore. This whole spiritual married thing, like, I get what they're saying, but the wife now is Robin. So she's a single woman. So anything in my mind that she does going forward isn't considered cheating. You are now a single woman. And she said in the tell-alls that after she legally divorced Cody for, what she did it for, that so many people hit her up online, countless people encouraging her and celebrating her finally leaving Cody. They so celebrated this. And it not was just support. It turned into admiration and interest. People were now seeking her. Hey, I know you're no longer with Cody. What's up? Are you interested? What can we do? This type of rabbit hole made her fall into a friendship turned internet love affair with a person. This person said all the right things, made her feel great, made her feel powerful, made her feel beautiful. She said that she enjoyed most their laughter, their friendship, which I truly feel like is what she felt like was lacking with Cody. She just missed someone seeing her and making her laugh and making her feel good. And so technically, because they all agree to be sisters and spiritual wives to him, it still was technically cheating, even though she wasn't married to him anymore. So she kept it a secret. There was no like parading around that she has this new connection, because I'm still technically a wife. So, in their eyes. Where it got really bad is that the person that she was talking to started to exhibit behaviors of like stalker, creepy, manipulative, and basically started to blackmail her and say like, I know enough about you and your family. I know where you guys live. I know this and the third. I've watched you. I can find you at any moment. I have a friend who can get at you at any time. You don't want to mess with her. And it's Mary's understanding that there was never a man, and that she feels like she was catfished by a woman the whole entire time, because the way that he kept saying, I can get her. You don't want to mess with my friend. She's dangerous. She can find you. She can take anything from your phone. She can get all your information. But in the end, she only ever met that friend that he supposedly threatened her with, but she never met the man that she was having this connection with. So it's like, did this man ever exist, and was this a woman the whole time? Apparently the woman/man, whatever the heck, who was actually doing it, was threatening to out her or harm her in some way, shape, or form, and she was in fear of that impacting her family. And she would be at the grocery store, and the person would text her or call her and be like, are you at Kroger's? Are you at Target? Are you at Marshall's right now? Sepulveda and Latier, like, are you? That freaked her out, understandably. She's like, oh my gosh, who is this? You won't reveal yourself, but you know where I'm at, and you know who I am. And I'm a public family, so you know how to reach me, technically. So she started to isolate, and she thought she was protecting her family by not having any connection with them, because she was fearful of remaining close would allow for them to then be hurt by the choices she made. So yeah, that opened up after the legal divorce, which gave Cody an out, in my opinion, to officially put the stamp in his relationship with Mary, because he already wasn't feeling her too much over the years, and they already had a disconnect for like 10 years according to them, out of the 32 or whatever. And when she cheated, I guess it was like oh no, you don't do this, you don't do that, like, I can't trust you anymore, I don't desire you anymore. Now all of a sudden that became like the reason for things not being able to shape up and make sense. And she was trying to fight for it. She was like, Cody. And he's like, listen, I don't see you in that way anymore. Okay? We could still be who we are. But we're never going to be that again. Okay? And that was devastating to Mary. And I feel like that was manipulative on Cody's behalf, because for years he's felt this, but he used a mistake that was more open on her behalf to use that as the gateway to get out of his responsibilities to having an intimate relationship with her. I know several couples that have relationships that lack intimacy. I know them. They still get along. They still work well together. And he just wanted that. He wants more time with Robin, if I could keep it a buck. That's what I feel. So Cody and Janelle. Janelle is his second wife. I like... Again, there's redeemable qualities of each lady, but I think my favorites are Janelle and Christine. Janelle is number 2. Janelle is the second wife, and I like her stance on certain things. She doesn't allow herself to be bulldozed, and she's a team player as well, but she doesn't like faking things, just like Christine and Mary. They're pretty much all like pretty outspoken, as I've said before. They're true to themselves as much as they can be in this type of dynamic. But what I like about Janelle is she just doesn't cower because Cody says so. This is very, 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 very telling in one of their biggest disputes, I'd like to say, on the show, which is COVID-19, the battle of Cody and Janelle's family. So we all remember when we were going through the pandemic in 2020, and the CDC had certain guidelines and there were certain rules and restrictions as to how to manage this, virus. Some people speculate that it was a pandemic and that it was planned and stuff like that. I am one of them. And it was such an interesting time. 2020 was my college graduation year. So I didn't get a graduation, and it impacted other elements of my life and made them, change very abruptly. And it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. But 2020 was an interesting time for all of us. So imagine being in a polygamous relationship. How does that impact the household? Some believe that it was transferable and that we didn't have natural antibodies and things like that could fight it off. And some believe that taking the, whatever made you weaker and more susceptible to it. And others believe that it made you strong and powerful. Everybody had their own take on what happened. Janelle does say that her and her whole family, I believe her children, I want to say that Janelle did say that she received the shot. I think maybe her kids too, but she says she did. So if we believe that helps stop the transferring of things, then why can't we then commune? If I have the shot that's supposed to protect you and protect me, then why am I then having to do a billion other things to protect when I have something in my body that's supposed to be protecting me? Okay, so that's kind of really the stance that she took. She was like, I'll be compliant to what the CDC is saying. I've taken their shot. I've done it. Okay, but Cody, your rules are just a little out of pocket. He asked her to do several things and wanted each wife to govern each one of their families according to his rules. And without them doing that, they would subsequently be punished by not seeing their father, by not being able to hang out in group settings because they aren't following the rules. Some of Janelle's kids had relationships and they were dating, and he's famously quoted saying on one of his tell-alls, "If one of my kids have to die because one of my kids wanted to get their pencil wet, that would make me mad." So he saw it as, you could forego seeing your girlfriend, you could forego this, that, and the third, keep the family safe. No one hang out with any outsiders, no one go anywhere. Everything needs to stop to protect this family. Everything needs to stop. He actually ended up getting COVID at some point, and he felt like it was a near-death experience, and he was terrified and things of that nature. But again, if you have the shot and you feel like it works, then what are we really afraid of? If we have, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, but she was playing his game. They all got shots. They did what the CDC said, but she wasn't willing to comply with his extra rules. And she felt as if it was stopping her family from still experiencing life. And she's like, that's just not fair, Cody. And she's still with her children. He felt like his children were disrespecting him and ignoring his rules, and that Robin technically was the only true household that was upholding, coincidentally, his rules for COVID. This impacted them greatly during the holiday season. Their Christmases and Thanksgivings were changed forever. They were separate. Before that, they were coming together as a huge family of almost 70 people, all in one space, from other family members to the ones that are within the fold. And now it's 12 here, 7 here, 20 here, 3 here. And yeah, they just started, I think at this moment, the women started to realize that they can march to the beat of their own drum and that they don't need Cody. I feel like this realization was apparent before 2020, but I feel like this made things more obvious, as it did for the whole entire nation. If you were in a relationship and things were shaky, or you felt like you guys were on solid ground, and then you guys had to quarantine together and there was no escape, there was no leaving, there was no break at work and leaving, there was none of that. You had to just deal with who's in front of you and who you chose to marry or be with. A lot of people got divorced. Some people were strengthened. Relationships were changed for the better or the worse, and family ties as well. So it was a very trying time for everybody, and the sister wives weren't exempt. So in this, things started to change. Christine started to go further. Oh yeah, I'm taking the kids up to this place. Mary's like, oh, I'll stay back with you and Robin. We'll do Christmas or Thanksgiving together because we're a family, and regardless of what, this is what I signed up for. Janelle sided with her children. Her children felt betrayed by their dad for many reasons before 2020. He likes to choose it as a cop-out, like, oh, ever since COVID, my kids. No, the dissolving of their relationship happened long before. And he didn't want to face that. And I don't know if he, to this day, wants to face that certain catastrophic things weren't the reason for it. It's the small everyday behaviors or lack of connection and consideration and care and time spent with his children that led to all of this. So in so many words, he felt as if his sons disrespected him, and he said that unless they apologize, we won't have a discussion and there will be no coming together for the holidays. That became a big argument between them. You'll see that in several episodes where they just kept going back and forth on, you said my kids needed to apologize before even meeting you and talking to you because you're da-da-da-da-da, but they feel like you. And he's like, I didn't say they had to apologize. I changed my mind and said we could just have a conversation. And she's like, but you did say that, Cody. And he's like, but I fixed it. I changed my mind and said we don't need to apologize anymore. We could just meet. She said, well, I already told them what you said originally and they're mad about that. He says, well, why are you not backing me? And why'd you even tell them? She's like, because you told me to tell them that they need to apologize, but they didn't agree with it. So I'm standing with them. But I told you that I changed my mind about that. So you should tell them that. Oh no, Cody, why don't you call your own kids and tell them and get me out the middle? I don't have to tell them that you no longer require an apology. You could tell them, hey kids, I have your number. I'm calling you as father and I'm gonna da-da-da-da. No, I'm not gonna do that because these kids are disrespectful and da-da-da-da-da. Well, Cody, they're your kids. So if you want to see resolution, reach out as their father. Well, they haven't reached out to me, so I'm not going to reach out to them. And it became this revolving door of nothingness. Nothing truly ever got solved. Nothing. The kids felt, and again, in the fold with Robin being the favorite again, they felt as if he chose Robin and his family, and that she was being praised for being compliant and being the wife that understands his rules. But there were more inner workings and more details to the dissolving of their relationship with their father from Janelle's children. So it wasn't just the lack of their perceived compliance, it was more to it. And then again, let's just say that the kids were out of pocket or whatever. Now that you're seeing that time is changing, and you yourself, Cody, have said, I took that back. They don't need to apologize. I just want us to have a conversation so we don't sit in a room like a bunch of alcoholics the next day acting as if we forgot what happened. That's something he quoted as well. Okay, so if your kids are not being as mature, not taking that first step, being kids or in their own feelings or feeling hurt, and you're hearing their grievances from their mother and you're hearing it from them through text messages, if you're hearing this, what's to stop you from being the actual father, the leader of the family, and calling them, pulling rank, and having a meeting? Hey boys, hey daughters, I'm sorry. Or here's my grievances, let's talk about this. He so put the responsibility on the children to have to figure this out and have this whole entire, like, at any moment he could have apologized. At any moment he could have said, boys, girls, what we're going through is not worth us losing any more time and shared memories together. Let's come together. But Cody, no, it's his way or the highway for the most part. And I'm not going to say that he never apologized or he never saw other people's sides. Like, there are redeemable qualities to Cody and how he managed his family. But in this one, he literally let his stance and the kids' misunderstanding or whatever keep him out of the family fold. And this led to the official dissolving of he and Janelle's relationship. And yeah, they never recovered from it. She's like, I'm always going to choose my children. I'm always going to choose my children. So you did this, you haven't handled this, you haven't addressed these things, but yet you want them to apologize for X, Y, or Z. That's between you and them, Cody. If you really want that, he's like, why don't you back me up and support me as a wife? You've never supported me. She's like, are you kidding me? So yeah. Yep. This was interesting. I know we all have some really low moments that we probably can pull from or remember from COVID where things weren't so peachy in our households or with our dynamics or relationships. But if nothing, that time should have or afterwards shown us that, things can change in a moment. Let's reconcile. Let's figure it out. Let's choose peace. Let's choose forgiveness, because tomorrow is not promised. It's truly not promised. And Cody took that for granted, but I feel like he was happy where he was at. He was with Robin. And it just so happened she was the most compliant, and that gave him more time to be at her house and not share his energy with everyone else that wasn't playing by the rules. So therefore he felt safer for being quarantined with them. It just kind of seemed to work out. So maybe it started off as a genuine desire so that he could keep the whole entire family safe and protect the family. But as it started to dwindle as to who was being responsible, again, it lucked up being Robin. So in the end, I guess they won again. This is going to end today's coverage. All right. This is part 4. This is going to end it. Okay. Yeah, we're going to dive into many other components regarding the show in future videos. We're going to dive into, is Cody a narcissist? What does that mean? Is he the villain in this? Or was he a man that was given too much power and had too much to handle and he tried his best? So we're going to dive into everything Cody related. Also, there has been a lot of court drama going on, again, as current as 2025, last month, this month. There's so much going on and unfolding from the family that they once shared, specifically the one that I saw between Robin and Christine. That one's really sad. So I'm gonna take the time to dive into those 2 topics and others that I think of in future videos. If you enjoyed this 4-part series for today, Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Since you're here, I produce a morning show that I post every Monday and Thursday. To the best of my ability, you will see a morning show every Monday and every Thursday to get you started on your day. I also produce documentaries. My most recent one on sex trafficking on Figueroa. And I have another one that I filmed about a week and a half ago that I'm set to edit and post prayerfully before this month is over. We'll see. So yeah, and I have a ton of other commentary videos that you could just check out. I talk about a lot of stuff. And lastly, my day in the life vlogs. There is a lot of content that I produce on this here channel. So if you're interested in my style of delivering news and having a real conversation about the things happening in today's world, then stick around. Stick around. Stick around. Stick around. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah, no pressure. The only thing you need to know before you go is that Jesus Christ absolutely loves you. There's no sin that will separate you from the Father. He loves you. He adores you. He loves you. Don't clean yourself up before you come back to God. That's the trick of the enemy. He wants you to think you have to be perfect. You do not. Come as filthy and dirty as you are, because that's what I do every day with God. I come to him with all my problems, all my failures, all my sins, all my mistakes, and he chooses me every day, and he'll do the same for you. Okay? So just talk to God. Say hey. Say what's up. Ask for a sign. Ask for him to visit you in your dreams. Ask for him to confirm. Just say hey. I promise you, he's literally closer than you think. Okay? The Lord is everywhere. He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. Again, I've been your favorite journalist, Kaelyn Ryan. Thank you so much for watching today's morning show, and I'll see you Thursday.